Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
After what has been really a dream season for the Patriots, they're in a tight one in the playoffs here against the Los Angeles Chargers. Westover up in front of Stevenson, handoff for Monterey, runs it left out of an ankle tackle, carries to the 35, across the 30. On the right wing, the extra tight end out there with a play fake. Drake on a deep drop, slides left, throws it to the end zone. Hunter Henry makes the catch. He's in to the near pylon. Touchdown, Patriots!
That's what I'm talking about! Look at this place!
Herbert again for the shotgun. He drops back, he stands in, he's pressured. He's hit. He stays on his feet, running left, and then he goes down. Ball is loose. Patriots have it.
Yes!
Harris with a recovery.
Yes! Unbelievable!
What are they talking about? What are they talking about? Yeah!
Come on! You're an animal, cuz! I'm talking about an animal!
Herbert extends the hand, takes the step. A blitz is coming.
Hit him, yeah.
Pressure, another sack! Right to the quarterback. A sack for Anthony Jennings. First to 4th and 9 for L.A. 2 minutes to go. Herbert drops back. He's pressured, and he's walled by Milton Williams. Justin Herbert sacked back at the 45-yard line.
He don't want to get up.
The 6th sack by New England. A big-ticket free agent, and boy, has Milton Williams delivered for the Pats this season. And Drake Maye, for a final time on this wild card Sunday, drops to the knee, and Mike Vrabel's going to run across the field and shake hands with Jim Harbaugh. The Patriots are moving on as they handle the Chargers, and again, they're bound for the divisional round here at Gillette next weekend to meet the winner between Pittsburgh and Houston.
This guy sucks!
How good does it feel to get a win on Wildcard Weekend? Welcome, everybody, to the Patriots Touchback Podcast. It is Season 3, Episode 49, and the New England Patriots are coming off the back of a fantastic win, 16-3 against the L.A Chargers. It was gritty, it was rough, but New England get the job done. The defense that we've had worries about all season came to play on Sunday night, and what a game it was. I've got DJ, I've got Nick, I've got Kieran on tonight. Make sure you smash the like button, gonk, spike the subscribe button, tell all your friends, follow us on our social media platforms, and follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple as well. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this amazing Tuesday?
All good.
Great.
Much better than Justin Herbert.
Hence the fact why I done that edit.
Rumor has it he's called Childline because several men have been abusing him for the last few days.
Oh, wow. Oh, dear. Jesus Christ.
That wasn't the same Chargers that were supposed to absolutely obliterate us, was it?
Well, apparently so.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently so, but yeah, that was an obliteration.
Yeah, we haven't played anybody. You know, we've got the weakest schedule. It's a disgrace that we're there. We're just there to take
Too easy.
part.
Yeah.
You know, who'd have thought it?
No, who'd have thought it? But guess what? We are now officially playing with house money because apparently we had to win a wild card game. We had to win a playoff game in order to be any sort of relevant. Well, we have. So what they're going to say now? We will have the Texans on Sunday. It wasn't our matchup that we wanted, but you have to play what's put in front of you. And we're going up against not just a great defense, but a fantastic defense. It's going to be hard. However, we need to dissect this game first. So let's crack straight on into it. I'm not going to start with Drake Maye because I feel like the main heroes in all of this is the New England Patriots defense. I mean, talk about a collective effort from absolutely everyone, from sacks to QB hits, was just a phenomenal output. Nick, who was your Who's your shining star on defense in this particular game? You can't. By the way, guys, you can't choose the same player, so you got to choose a different one each time.
Oh, well, I'm glad I got picked first. Then. My man of the match, if you like, or MVP. I'm going to say man of the match because this guy was amazing. 3 pressures, 2 sacks, absolutely ran over everybody. We've been missing him for weeks. Welcome back, Milton Williams, because there is some aspects of what we saw on Sunday night that I think had we been missing Williams, we wouldn't have been as effective in that D. But and to be fair, Philadelphia in their game showed exactly what they were missing with Milton Williams, because they couldn't stop the run. And the D just plugged everything. And for me, man of the match was Milton Williams. Take a bow.
He had 2 sacks on that game. Obviously, the last one was literally the closer. Literally is what a freaking closer on the mound does at baseball just to finish the game off. Kieran, what about you? Who is your best defensive player?
Yeah, I'm glad that Nick went with Milton Williams because that saved me for the one that I was going to say. And I'm going to go with Christian Ellis. I thought that was arguably his best game as a Patriot. He was absolutely everywhere. And he made some real key plays. Obviously, the fumble recovery, he was just everywhere in the backfield, to the sideline, breaking up stuff, making every tackle we possibly could. Was just your prototypical sideline to sideline linebacker. And I think he was outstanding and a huge part of that win the other night. Obviously, Spillane's normally the one that gets all the plaudits, and rightly so. Spillane is a fantastic player and has been great for us all season. But I thought Ellis really showed out. We gave him a contract extension in the summer, and he's more than justified that. I thought he was terrific.
DJ, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to go Ellis, to be honest, but as Kieran, they just commanded the whole midfield. I think was flying left, right, and centre. If I had to pick another player, I think it's the rookie Woodson. I thought he played a solid, decent game in that backfield. Way more commanding than he has in the previous couple of games as well, which gives him a bit more of that freedom and be able to manage the backfield. Another shout out to Jones as well. I thought he did tremendous as well. When Gonzalez went down, he actually had to step in for him there at cornerback. So yeah, like you say, a defense solid all round really.
I think Gonzalez took the absolute piss in this game in the nicest way possible because he just made everything like his job look so easy. It was like he was playing in first gear and knew that none of those Chargers receivers were ever going to threaten him. And, these are not bad players. Quentin Johnston's a reasonably good deep threat. Ladd McConkey is a good slot receiver. Keenan Allen is what he is at this stage of his career, but has had a fantastic career. And then obviously Trey Harris being a rookie, someone I was quite high on at the draft process. But no matter who out of them that Christian Gonzalez has matched up against, he was just like, he just knew that he had to just stand there and they were completely erased from the game. And they highlighted this on the coverage. They said, Gonzalez has just been outstanding because he's just not giving them a sniff. And it didn't look like he was playing like to his full capability either. Like I said, he was just taking the piss because he's that good.
I did actually read somewhere. I can't remember.
I was just going to say, you've got to hope he clears concussion protocol this week, though. Because
So
I don't want to be going into next week without him.
Well, the thing is, if you go back to the Ravens game, Nick, we had 3 players that went down with a concussion. You had Henderson who went down with a concussion, but he was good to go against the Jets. You had Kayshon Boutte who was in concussion protocol, but he was out for the Jets game. And then you had Jared Wilson who went out he went out with his concussion, but we didn't see him until the game just happened. So it all depends what it is. It didn't the impact. I
thought it was more precautionary. It didn't seem like it was a full one.
Yeah, what Mike Vrabel said what Vrabel said is New England took the choice not to put Gonzalez back in the game. That was their choice. It wasn't a doctor's request. It was New England's choice to not put him back in the game, but by doing that, he automatically enters concussion protocol because he didn't return to the game. So it's almost as if the Patriots didn't put him back in to protect him. Well, if you're protecting him, we have to check him first. So sort of thing. I think it's just going to be sort of one of these sort of tick the boxes, whatever else. And I would think tomorrow, Wednesday, you'll probably see him at the very least limited. But as I understand it, from what Vrabel said on WEI this morning or yesterday morning, whenever it was, he said that it was the Patriots that chose not to put him in. And by not putting him back in the game, he automatically enters concussion protocol because that's the health and safety aspect of the rules. So it should just be a box ticking issue.
Yeah, it should be, but you never know. I mean, the thing is, we played on Sunday, and we played on Sunday night, and obviously he's got 1 week or rather 5 days to go because there's a 5-step procedure, isn't there, to clear concussion protocol. Yeah. And the problem is, though, with regarding of who we're playing on Sunday, Nico Collins went down with a concussion as well, and he's going to have one less day to get out of it. So I think Collins ain't going to be there, but I could be wrong. But it didn't hurt us too much because Mike Vrabel was basically playing flipping mind games with the Chargers timeouts, making substitutions, and then telling them to just take it easy, You know, Christian Ellis, just come over, but just take your time. The shithousery that Vrabel does, it's just. I hate to say it is very Bill Belichick-esque, but Vrabel,
he's learned from the master.
But he just doesn't give a shit. He's just like, I don't fear you. I don't. It's like it was brilliant watching that defense go up against it. We will talk about the offense in a bit. Okay. One thing. So one of the things we looked at was the Chargers' offensive line. It's the worst in the NFL by a country mile. It's battered to hell and back. Their center and their 2 interior linemen are ranked at the bottom of PFF grades. I know you could take PFF grades with a pinch of salt, if you will, but what you saw in that game was once New England started to get pressure and throw 5-6 players at the line, you can tell that line was not holding up for shit. And we've got probably one of the bottom 5 worst pass rushing units in the NFL, and yet we still managed to get 11 QB hits and 6 sacks on Justin Herbert. That is
30 total pressures, including sacks and hits as well.
30 pressures. I think we pressured him on like 56% of his dropbacks. They got more.
I mean, that's insanity.
They got more.
And we were being told in the build up to this, and I think this is just a typical kind of media circus around it, that well, the Patriots just don't have the pass rush to threaten this Chargers offensive line. No matter how bad it is, it should still hold up against the Patriots. But that went well, didn't it?
Well, it can't be that bad. It's they're 11-6 in a playoff. I mean, to me, that seems
since Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater have gone down, it is the worst line in the NFL. He has been getting.
It is, but battered. But Justin Herbert, I credit him because he is trying to pull. He's trying to do a Josh Allen here. He's trying to do a Superman. He's trying to carry it all on his back. But here's the thing: when you're leading Russia as your quarterback, that's not a good. That's not sustainable. It is not.
But yeah, it was very reminiscent of Burrow, like taking Cincinnati, obviously, all the way to the Super Bowl a few years ago with a terrible offensive line. And you saw that in the Super Bowl where they just got wrecked by Aaron Donald and the Rams pass rush. You know, it happened with the Chiefs in 2 Super Bowls. Their line couldn't hold up against the Bucs the first time around. And then the Eagles, they got absolutely mauled. And then Andrew Luck lost his career because the Colts refused to invest in an offensive line. Now, don't get me wrong. The Chargers, not like they've neglected it. It's just that they've lost 2 Pro Bowl caliber tackles this season that play on the bookends. Like, that's just brutal luck. But it just shows you that you need capable depth in order to survive.
Yeah.
And they clearly don't have that. I mean, I think it's quite stark as well. Like, obviously, we know that Greg Roman and their O-line coach have since been fired. But Mackay Becton came out and said after the game that he's been struggling playing in the scheme that they want to run on offense, and that the blocking scheme that the O-line coach wants to run. I mean, that's not a very good indictment for the coach. If one of your players is coming out and saying, well, no wonder we're struggling because it's just not right. Like, they need a hard reset on that O-line. They need to put a lot of resources in.
I think if you look at that first, obviously the first 2 drives were just, punts both ways. But then when you look at that one where we gave them the ball in our end, and they had those 4 downs, they were so ineffective. That had nothing to do with their O-line. They were just ineffective at actually making any headway forward. Because our red zone defense has been terrible all season. We've been right at the back of the stats. And that's one of those where you're thinking, oh, God, please keep it to a field goal. Please keep it to a field goal. Because you're expecting it, but fair play to the defense. They didn't get. It reminds me of Will Patton in Remember the Titans, where he says, I don't want them to gain another effing yard. He says you blitz all night if you have to. And that's kind of what that play was, because it was just like, we cannot let them move an inch. And they didn't. They were so ineffective that even their problems that they do have on their O-line, they're just hiding the fact that they're ineffective across the board.
You've also got to look at it as well. Marcus Jones on that 3rd down block, that was critical. I mean, he's like 50 pounds. He's probably 50 pounds less than Justin Herbert, and yet he just chopped him down at the knees.
Yeah,
that was quick. Absolutely,
that was very good recognition from Marcus Jones to step up, knowing that he needs to make that play. Otherwise, Herbert's got a touchdown. He's kind of come away from the zone, knowing he's going to run, and then made the crucial stop. But it was good to see our red zone defense step up, because as Nick said, it's been pretty much a formality most of the season that if a team gets in the red zone against us, we're probably going to give up the points. But yeah, they were ineffective, and there were times where Herbert did have time, and he just ultimately didn't have the support to do it. I don't know what the issue is, because you look at that team and they do have plenty of weapons, but yeah, they were way off it on offense. I think it was one of them where, although the score was very close for a large part of the game and was within like 3 points for a lot of it, you never really felt like, even though we were giving the ball back to them, that they were going to do anything with it. Like, they could have had so many more drives and not scored, because they just had zero control, zero rhythm. They were constantly under pressure. And yeah, I think we could have played for another hour and they probably wouldn't have scored a touchdown.
No, I don't think so as well. But I did remember what we said, Kieran, in the build up to this game, was keep an eye on Keenan Allen. He's always Justin Herbert's 3rd down and 4th down target man. So on that 4th and 2, or rather 4th and goal, I knew as soon as I saw Keenan Allen, I thought, right, get Gonzo on him immediately. Do not let him off. And Gonzo defended him really, really well there. But then again, Justin Herbert did overthrow him by a country mile.
Keenan Allen had a rough game, actually. I think
he had a lot of drops
on 8 targets, and he had a couple of drops as well. Like, for someone who's a veteran, who's had such a good career, and as we said, was likely going to be the target on 3rd down, and in those go-to situations, he's the Mr. Reliable that you want to go to. But he had a rough night. Yeah, he was way off it.
Considering I think I'm looking at the box score here. We held. No receiver got over 35 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey, 30. Pardon me. Lad McConkey, 32 yards. Gadaston, 30 yards. Keenan Allen, 25. Vidal, 20. Trey Harris, 20. Quinton Johnson, 20. Tucker Fisk, 12. We held him to 159 yards in the air. It literally became a no-fly zone. if you're targeting our secondary. And considering we've got, okay, Gonzo's an all-pro, we know that, right? But then you've got Jalen Hawkins, who is a journeyman, who, you know, and he's really made a good deed of what he's done this season. You've got a rookie in Craig Woodson, who, for me, I thought he was one of our best defenders. I thought he was out. I text you in the first quarter. You know, I thought, Kieran, I said, Woodson's making plays all over the place here. Everything is
one bit.
We don't miss Duggar one bit. Unlucky Steelers. Ha ha ha. And obviously, then you got Carlton Davis, and you know, look, we've had our beef with Carlton Davis. He hasn't really done that well, but the thing is that the guy's getting it's not so much as hurt. He's getting peppered. He's getting peppered because no quarterback is throwing in Gonzalez's region. So what are they doing? They're targeting the second corner. So it's really unfair on him. But even he put up even he did a really good job, apart from the PI, which was ticky-tacky at best.
Can I just make the point I made to you, Carl, the other night when we talk about the Carlton Davis DPI? Now, don't get me wrong. What he does is always going to get flagged as a DPI. Like, I've got no issues with what Carlton Davis does on that situation there. However, the ball was at least 5 yards overthrown.
He wasn't going to catch it. Yeah.
There was no way in hell that he's catching that, even if his arm isn't impeded. And I think the NFL seriously need to look at this pass interference rule, because if it is completely uncatchable, irrespective of whether the player is going having his arm pulled back or not, like if it's not a realistic catch to make, then it shouldn't get flagged, because Carlton Davis has not prevented him from making that play. The ball's overthrown. So they need to have a look at this, because like that situation there, we've gone from a deep shot where, okay, there's a bit of contact, he's moved his arm back or whatnot. Now, if he impedes him from making that catch, and it's quite clear that he would have had a chance on the ball, then fine, flag it. But if not, then we have just been penalised at the spot of the foul for that. And we've given up the yardage when if he doesn't touch him, that's going out of bounds. And that's going to be an incomplete pass. So I think if maybe a review system or something for DPI, because they shouldn't be flagging stuff that's being sailed into the crowd just for the sake of it. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the offensive path interference as well. I realize that's not what this was, but when suddenly referees have stopped calling offensive pass interference, and you see some of the wide receivers, they are blatantly interfering, not going, and then they fall on the floor, put their arms up, and it's penalised against the D. And it's like, come on, the referees need to be better across the board this year.
You know that's not going to happen, Nick. Come on, you know that's.
I know, but.
Until they replace them with AI robots, so they get it absolutely bang on, and even then they could be retuned to be freaking match fixing. But anyway, that's not good.
Full time would help. Full time referees would help.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because they're not full time vets, aren't they? Not even full time vets. Pay them full time and tell them to learn to play the game. But no, credit to what this defense did. But we have to go into the offense, okay? So let's start with Drake. First playoff game, that first half, he was jittery. I think he was jittery. I think he was nervous. I don't think that the occasion got to him. I think when you're in that kind of atmosphere, even though you're in your home crowd, when you're in that kind of atmosphere, it can be a little bit overwhelming for you. And it was like do you know what that reminded me of, Nick? It reminded me of him in the first 3 weeks of the season, where he was just overthinking it too much, holding onto the ball too long, not really taking care of it as such. He fumbled it twice, which is really bad. I don't really want to blame him for the interception, because that was tipped at the line, and then it bonged off fucking 3 Chargers play before it landed in the hands of, I'm not sure who it was. I think was it Derwin James? I can't remember who it was. So. I think it was Derwin James. So. I can have a look for you. Where's the interceptions? Anyway, so
Henley.
I can't.
So Henley. Dalian Henley.
Dalian Henley, yeah, Dalian Henley. Yeah. So, but I can't really blame him for that. But a lot of people were saying that, he shouldn't have thrown it because it was too congested. Well, he couldn't scramble out the pocket because he had edge rushers on either side of him, so he had to get that ball out. Sadly, though, it didn't end well. But luckily, the defense made the biggest stand I've ever seen us do this season. But then in that second half, he got into a rhythm. And here's the thing that I say, and Kieran, as we said back in the preview show, I think what you're going to see of Drake in this game was more of a case of the Chargers going to blanket every single receiver. He's going to have to take everything short. The dump off to Ramondre Stevenson, which he did. The passes to the slant into likes of Diggs and Booty, and obviously Efton Chisholm got a catch for it as well. But then in that second half, you could just tell at some point something had to give. And I was thinking, the minute whoever it is, either Maye or Herbert, whoever decides to start throwing, not the deep ball, but throw like the intermediate ball, that's when you know that offense is going to start humming properly. Drake Maye in that second half was 11 of 14, 173 yards, 1 touchdown, did have the fumble, but he had a passer rating of 142. In the second half alone. That's what you call flipping the script and making a big inroad in that.
I think he responded pretty well from a pretty mundane first half where there wasn't a lot going. But you could see that even though the Chargers were blanketing us as much as possible, they were getting a lot of pressure up front, and forcing Drake into throwaways and to throw into areas that potentially you wouldn't want him throwing into, and obviously throwing into tight coverage. But then when it mattered most, you think about the play in the first half, pretty much on our goal line where he stepped up, found Ramondre Stevenson over the middle, big gain. There was the one to Hunter Henry on third down over the middle, zipped it in, absolute beautiful throw up the seam. The one on the sideline to Booty, which you argue could have been intercepted. Absolute laser. Boom. Straight into Booty's hands. The deep shot to Booty. He seemed to, although not dicing them up the entire game, he seemed to every now and then when it mattered most, when it was a clutch play, he seemed to be able to make the throw when it mattered and take what the defense was giving to him, which wasn't a lot. But he still put up a decent amount of yardage. Okay, yes, he had the turnovers. The interception is bollocks. It's complete bollocks. It pings around like a bloody volleyball before it falls into the defender's hands. I feel like if Derwin James picks that off, fine. But it's the fact that it deflects off of Tyre Tart, then smacks Derwin James, and then just so happens to land in the hands of Dayan Henley. It was incredibly lucky. And he was going to find Hooper for a short gain on that play anyway. So I don't think you can really begrudge him for that. But yeah, I think it's more of a positive thing as a whole for the team that we won a playoff game like this, where we were in complete control, really, considering the Chargers did nothing offensively. And our quarterback didn't need to play superhero to win it. We won that game kind of irrespective of Drake Maye having a big game. That was probably one of Drake Maye's worst games this year.
That's a C+. That was a C+.
It was a C+ game. He was fine. He was okay. He made a couple of, as we said, made maybe 3 or 4 big time throws in the game, big plays. And obviously he, took the scrambles and the big runs in front of him when basically the Chargers sold out pressure off the edge and he stepped through the middle and ran. He was fine, but it was, like you said, it's a C+ game. But we were still able to win a playoff game, irrespective of our quarterback. And I think that's a fantastic reflection on the team as a whole, that, sometimes you do need a bit of magic from your quarterback. Ultimately, Buffalo won their game the other night because Josh Allen was excellent. And if they are going to win in Denver this weekend, they are going to need Josh Allen to be excellent again. But we advanced because we won it as a team. That was a real team performance. Everyone just knuckled down and just fought with everything they've got to get that win. And the defense won that game, really, when you think of it. So, yeah. But then when you needed a moment of magic to extend, because there was obviously one touchdown in the game, the throw that Drake made to Hunter Henry is just gorgeous. Like
put
it was
it
just perfectly thrown, and it was just away from the fingertips of Derwin James. It was perfectly placed, perfect weight, perfect velocity, beautiful throw, excellent. So when it mattered most, he came up trumps, but we didn't win that game because of Drake Maye.
I mean, despite it being a down game for him, he still set yet another record. This guy's setting records every single day. You know, his 37-yard run is the longest run in franchise history for a postseason by a quarterback. I mean, obviously, because Brady never ran anywhere. But, I mean, he had 10 runs for 66 yards, so 6.6 yards. But that 37-yard run he had, that big run, is the longest in franchise postseason history by a QB. Beating Mac Jones's 32 yards that Mac ran.
Seriously,
so
Mac
even
Jones
when he's having a down,
seriously,
even
Mac
when he's
Jones
having a
hold that
down game,
record.
he's still
Wow.
Mac Jones held the record until Drake Maye just beat it. So
clip
even
that.
though he's having a down game, he's still setting records.
Oh dear. So that drive, as you said, Kieran, the touchdown drive, which obviously it was basically simple. It was like 3-yard pass to Douglas. It was an 8-yard pass sent to Westover. Yes, you heard me say it correctly. Drake Maye threw to the fullback. When the ruddy hell we heard that in this season?
Shane Chisholm couldn't.
Chisholm had a pass. If you mean the
God,
if you mean
we don't need that.
If we tried to do the Philly special only works Philadelphia.
I was going to say it was identical.
Exactly
you
the same.
could tell that was in Josh's playbook. That was identical because you put the two plays. I've seen it on Twitter. You put the two plays side by side, and they are identical to almost the same position, and almost the quarterback's just struggling with his hands. It's identical.
The thing is, though, is that when the play worked out, when Chisholm threw that ball, that was not a bad ball. I just think Drake didn't know if he should have carried on running or not. If he carried on running, he probably...
No, I don't think it was a good throw.
I thought it was a bit of a lob.
Chisholm was forced back. I think he was forced back deeper than what he was supposed to be when he made that throw. I think he was supposed to be 2, 3, 4 yards further forward. And he then had to think, oh, shit, I'm a lot further back than what I am here. And I think he put a bit too much on it and just sailed it out of bounds. I don't think it was Drake stopping, but it was. I text you, Carl, and said, calm down. You're not Jules yet. But I mean, he did have a nice reception, to be fair to him. Like, we know what he's good at, which is these plays in the slot. And like every time he makes a reception, he just seems to take it with like so much aggression. I don't know what it is. It just seems to like storm into the route, pick it up, like drive through someone, and then get up and you can just see the fire running through him. But yeah, maybe we refrain from letting him do trick plays like that for the time being,
or maybe practice them a little bit more, and then do it in the clutch moment we need you to do it. Like I don't know, like the Super Bowl, for example. Anyway,
there was someone on Twitter saying that we should actually move on from Pop Douglas and just substitute in for Chisholm and work on Chisholm more than what we've done with Pop, because the regression from Pop side, I think it's definitely been noticed this season. I don't know if it's a chemistry thing or what I don't know what it is, but it definitely seems like they're willing to go Williams, Chisholm before Pop on most of these occasionally.
I've been saying to you guys for the last few weeks, like I would release Pop Douglas in the summer and go after Alec Pierce. I feel
he's going to be
like that would
be mega money.
I mean, he's going to get paid like a decent deal, but like he's an unrestricted free agent as far as I'm aware.
Has Pop got any money left due to him?
Well, he was a 6th round pick in 23, so he's extension eligible this off season, just like Booty and Gonzo are. But so he'll have 1 year left in his contract.
It's going to be minuscule anyway.
So we might not get Alec Pierce. As DJ said, he's going to get a fat contract. Like, he's had a great year. And maybe the Colts will want to keep him around. But Maybe we look to draft someone. Maybe we sign someone else. But I would probably move on from Pop this offseason.
More than likely. As we said, the offense was not great in its totality. Let's have a look at the receiving yards from my boys. Ramondre Stevenson got the most yardage, 75 yards. 75 yards receiving on 4 targets, 3 receptions caught. Kayshon Boutte, 4 receptions, 66 yards. Hunter Henry, 3 receptions, 64 yards. Chisholm, 1 reception for 20. Stephon Diggs, 2 receptions for 60. Diggs got shut out in this game. And we did say that the receivers are going to the secondary of the Chargers going to cause us massive problems, and they did. Trayon Henderson, one reception for 9 yards. Kyle
Just
Williams.
goes to show what the Chargers defense was made of. We had to use our running back as a dunking running back because
I mean, at some point, that's what you're going to have to do. At some point, this is why I said to Gary, you've got in this sort of game, you have got to take the easy. It's no point. It's like an NBA. You can't continue to keep going for threes all the time. At some point, you're just going to have to take the layups. Take the layup. Just take the easy points. And that's what we did. He took the easy points. He took the easy layups, the easy dump-offs. And then at some point, you saw the Chargers and all of a sudden start moving forward in because it's like, okay, he's actually dropping it short now. Now we've got to be careful. And the minute they drop short, then he dropped to the intermediates. Then he shot twice. Boutte made 2 unbelievable catches, but went for a ton of yardage in the second half. I was impressed with Boutte, actually. He actually stepped up big time. But there's still one thing that is still glaringly obvious, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. We miss Mac Hollins. We miss his presence. And I can't believe I'm saying that because he's a journeyman. He should really be our wide receiver 3 or 4, but he's someone that we actually do miss.
Yeah, because I think he devours nickel corners and linebackers when running over the middle of the field because of his height.
Yep.
And that's the difficulty. We've spoken previously about Drake Maye sailing it over Pop Douglas's head because Pop Douglas is the size of an Oompa Loompa. But then, like, Mac Hollins is 6'4", matched up against the nickel corner. Like, you know where he's going every time. It's like when we spoke earlier in the season, Carl, about against the Steelers, we were having Marcus Jones cover Darnell Washington in the end zone. It's like, what are we doing? So that's as delusional Patriots fans as there. Mac at the middle of the field, his size, 100%. But
can he come back or not? Or is he now?
He can come back. If we beat Houston, he can play in the AFC Championship game.
That's if he's good, though. That's if was it the oblique injury or it was his ribs or
abdomen?
So hopefully it is just a 4-year. It's just we've got to get through Sunday first before we even get that far. And also in the running game. In the run game, he's a very good blocker as well. But talking of the running game, obviously Drake Maye, he had 10 carries, 66 yards. Ramondre Stevenson again, he had 10 carries for 57. If I'm not mistaken, nope, 10 carries, 53 yards. 53 yards. He averages 5.3. He averages just over 5 yards a carry. Stevenson's we've been praising him over the last 3 weeks or so now, but Stevenson has really started to come, and this is what we wanted out of him. This is what we saw out of him coming out of Oklahoma. You know, he was that dude. Trayvon Henderson had a bit of a weak game, 9 carries, 27 yards. Every time Henderson got the ball, it was running up the gut, and I'm like, that is not how you fucking use him.
Yeah, that part of it is still frustrating because, like we've seen in other games in recent weeks, that they've kind of used Henderson and Stevenson as they should be used, and both have been productive. And Henderson's being used to his strengths on outside and playing counter and things like that. But yeah, we just seem to be running Henderson up the gut for no gain on several occasions. Like, it's just not his strength. Like, he's an outside zone runner, really. Michael Hurley said on his podcast with Doug Kai the other day that since the last 6 weeks, Ramondre Stevenson has turned into prime Alvin Kamara. where he's just like as
reach.
like a dual threat running back, like in terms of like what he's been doing, like in terms of the production, both through the air and on the ground. And to be fair, it's hard to argue with that at the moment because it genuinely has been like everywhere. Like his all-purpose has been excellent the last few weeks.
Even in his attitude, I've noticed he's pissed off. Like I don't know, he doesn't seem to celebrate like when he celebrates. He seems he's got some like chip on his shoulder, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if it was prior to him. He's got injured. He had all his fumbling issues and the way we treated him. But I don't know. I just see some extra fire in him when he's playing now.
And I said to Carl as well, I do think he's learned. Like I think he's, I think those experiences from last season and from the Pittsburgh game, I think he really took that to heart, because you see in that first big run that he rips off in this game, where he went like 30 odd yards. You watch, if you slow the footage down, and I noticed this in real time, and I text Carl about it. I said, as soon as the defender initiates contact, you see him go to protect the ball straight away. Now, that's something that he wasn't doing previously. He's had fumbling issues, and you don't want a running back to run like hugging it and do everything possible too
slow,
because it slows you down. But the fact that he knew as soon as that contact was initiated, boom, tuck it in tight, protect the ball no matter what. And I think that is just the coaching that he's had this season. Has helped him get over the issues from the start of the season, and he's a better player for it.
If that would have been Henderson on that run, that would have been a touchdown. I don't think they would have caught.
You've also got to thank Kyle Williams. You've also got to thank Kyle Williams as well, because he did the block that made Henderson.
And Henderson also did that other block, didn't he? That
was the block for the touchdown.
For the tuddy.
Yeah.
Made that guy run around twice.
It made him look like a whirling dervish, and he almost got to Drake as well. So it was, But,
Stevenson's 48-yard catch from Maye makes him the second running back to do so over 40 yards in the postseason. He's the second running back to catch a reception over 40 yards. Who's the other?
What, for the Patriots?
Patriots.
Or just in general?
Yeah. No, for the Patriots, in the postseason, Stevenson's 48-yard catch from Maye is he's the second running back to catch over 40 yards. Who was the first?
James.
No, it wasn't James White.
Falk.
Blunt.
No, it wasn't Falk. No.
Ridley.
Nope.
I am going to go a bit left field and say Dion Lewis.
No, Rex Burkhead, 46 yards from TB12 in Super Bowl 52 against Philly.
Really? I didn't even know that. Yeah. It was Rexy. Damn.
Rexy.
Fair enough.
Sexy Rexy.
I've never referred to him like that, DJ. But
I'm pretty sure I've seen him sexy Rexy. Someone call him that.
Clip that.
Yeah, I've seen that loads of places. One of my fantasy team names years ago was called that.
There you go. I ain't chatting shit.
Well done to special teams as well. Looks like they got their act together this time. They didn't give off any big yardage on the kickoff or the punt returning, which was great. Andy Borregales, immaculate again, 3 for 3 in his field goals, extra point converted, no problem whatsoever. Bryce Barringer did really well with the punting, averaged 43 yards a punt, so good on him.
I think Schooler played an outstanding game as well. He was very close to getting a couple of those.
Schooler, I think he's
like L thing and then almost hit the
he's like a bull. He's like a bloody bull in the china shop. He really is. He's just like, he doesn't care who he tackles. He just brings them down. He's a very unique player. He's not ready to be in the secondary just yet, but still, Rex was good. I wish he could have stayed healthy. Yeah, that was his only issue, is that he couldn't stay healthy. But no, it was great for him. Hopefully Henderson gets some outside runs against the Texans. Well,
that could be.
Well, that is where I think we'll move to. Because
we just touch on the offensive line for a sec, Carl. I think we've.
Yeah. I squiffed over that. My apologies. Yeah, floor's yours, Kieran.
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to bash Will Campbell because I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, he's been pretty good this season. I once again, like, it annoys me when he gives up a lot of pressure and fans are bashing him online saying put Lowe in. I was like, we watched the same Vidarian Lowe for the last couple of years. Like, why would you want that over your 4th overall pick? Campbell had a rough night. I certainly don't think that it was a length issue. Like, people are going to harp onto, well, and he's got small arms, he's a guard. No, it wasn't a length issue. I just think it was a veteran pass rusher in Khalil Mack that knows every trick in the book. I think that's, always a recipe for not just recipe for disaster, but it's always advantage to a veteran edge rusher when you're going up against a rookie tackle. I think when you look at their edge talent with Tui Pelotu and Adafe Owe, they're just 2 excellent players that took advantage of that. I think Jared Wilson had a worse game than Will Campbell did. I could see the argument for maybe wanting to play Ben Brown against Houston over Jared Wilson, but I think more importantly, you start the game with Wilson, and if he struggles again, then you can potentially take him out of the game and bring Brown in. But Campbell's going to have these teething problems overall. I think PFF still graded him pretty highly in this game.
66 something.
I got his statistics here. So he had 40 pass block snaps. He gave up 1 sack, no QB hits, 5 pressures, 4 hurries, 60.8 pass block grade, 24 run block snaps, 84.3 run block grade, which is a team high. Overall, 75.6 offensive grade, which is also a team high. So even though PFF have actually ranked him quite high, the eyeball test says differently. Because I thought Campbell was getting rushed off his spot.
I felt that.
I think the other thing you have to remember is he's only just back from injury.
Yeah.
This is his 2nd game back after a layoff. So I think, he's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. Right, like you just said about Khalil Mack and what have you, and him being a season pro, he's going to make mistakes. He's only just come back from injury. This is not the time to start picking holes in players and saying, well, he should have done this or he should have done that. We win as a team, we lose as a team, and we improve ultimately as a team, and he will improve.
Yeah, and
the thing I will say about Wilson is that interception where he caught that ball mid-air.
That fumble recovery.
The only thing I thought, fucking hell, Wilson, you did well there because
he did brilliantly.
That wouldn't be a nice place to lose the ball.
One of the sacks Wilson gave up was literally, I said this to Carl, like the whoever it was, I can't remember who it was at the time, might have been Tui Pelotu, literally had gone past him before he'd even reacted. And that's not a technique thing, that's just reaction time. Like, Tui Pelotu was gone in the backfield, hitting Maye before Wilson even had a chance to react. Like, that's just sometimes that's just like a great defensive play. But yeah, I think
Wilson's a center. He's not what he's meant to be.
He's played as a center in college, but he's also played left guard at college as well. But the thing is, when you put in an experienced veteran in Garrett Bradbury, and you're going to need to put Jared Wilson somewhere else, so they put him at left guard. And for most of the part, he's actually done a very, very good job. Unfortunately, now when you're going up against these sorts of defenses, it will start showing, and it showed again in this Chargers game.
I would be surprised if we move Wilson into center and then maybe Brown where Wilson is now.
But then there's no reason to bench Bradbury. That Bradbury hasn't done anything wrong.
No. I mean, when we decide to move on from Bradbury.
Oh, right, yeah. Or you look to bring in a different left guard, maybe someone more experienced, and you move Wilson inside. But you look at the way the Chargers were approaching this. Like, the reason why they gave up so much pressure on that side is because the Chargers were relentless in going after that side. They were attacking them big time all game. They knew they were a rookie left side. They knew that they're young. Campbell not long off an injury. And they were focusing all their pressure off that side. So, of course, like there's going to be cracks because they were seeing the brunt of the pressure. Not a lot really came off the other side. Morgan Moses and Michael Nwenu didn't really see a lot of pressure off that side. So it was just the emphasis from the defensive game plan to get after the 2 rookies on the left side of our line, and that's why they generated a lot of pressure. I mean, look, they didn't play great, but like I think an 18 game sample size or a 17 game sample size, whatever, of them 2 playing, like they've been good this season. Like I don't think we should bash them for what they've done in this game. Odafe Owe, like, surprised me, like just how effective he was. I mean, I know he's been good since Baltimore traded him to the Chargers, but he looked a lot better than what I thought. And it makes you wonder whether sometimes you get this in professional sports when a player is available for transfer or a free agent, because Owe is going to be a free agent this offseason, where a player shows up against a particular opposition, and that opposition looks at that and goes, shit, he's pretty good. We should sign him. And it just makes you wonder whether he could be a potential target in the offseason. If they look at him and go, he wrecked us, like, we should throw a lot of money at him. Now, the Chargers have like a lot of cap space, so I'm sure they won't want to let him out of the building. But if he hits the market, we should be all over that.
So your pass rushers could consist of Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Hassan Reddick, and Odafe Owe, as you said. I tell you what, I mean, Owe is still quite young.
Yeah.
I don't think the Chargers would let him go. They have got definitely more cap space than us. But if he looks over the other side and sees New England, and let's just say they make the AFC Championship, and the Pats come knocking at the door, will that turn his head?
I mean, I think he's in a great position where I know he'll know that the Chargers have got a lot of cap space, and they'll want to keep him. But he's coming off an amazing season, and he'll know that if he tests the market, he could get offered a bag. So, yeah, I think we should definitely be in the market for him. If he hits the open market, we should definitely at least kick the tires and try and find out what kind of contract he wants. Because he could be a cornerstone piece. Look what we've done with Milton Williams. He hit free agency after winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles. He's still young enough. He's been a big-time game wrecker for us this year. If you add Owe, who's also young and can get 4 or 5 years out of him, then I think that's worth exploring. Guys like, Hendrickson could come in and be great straight away, but he has had durability issues, and he's 31. Jalen Phillips would be good, but he's had durability issues. I think his safest bet is to go and throw money at Odafe Owe and hope he signs with you.
That's the potential.
You can't throw money at everybody, though, can you? That's the problem.
No, and we've got to pay Gonzo and Booty this offseason, so...
and argumentative as to whether you want someone like AJ Brown, who, given what happened this weekend, he's definitely on the move.
I'm starting to. I said
like his attitude.
I don't like his attitude, and I think that will
spring drama. Fuck that.
No, he's a great receiver. He's a fantastic receiver. Well, do not get me wrong. But honestly, I'd rather trade to get Justin Jefferson out of Minnesota rather than AJ Brown.
He's just been arrested again. He was arrested again today.
No, that wasn't Justin Jefferson. That was Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. Sorry, but no, I was just using AJ Brown as an example of that's another guy that's going to be on the move. And like you said, we've got Gonzalez to pay. And I think it's just there are some holes that we need to cover first before we go throwing money on other players that they have one good game against us, and it's like
Gonzo's going to want top money, isn't he? He's definitely going to want to be the best paid
in the league.
I would think so, yeah. So what's that? 16, 17, 18 million? Something like that?
Yeah. So, I think it's a good point you raised, Nick, about you don't want to kind of put all your eggs in one basket in terms of blowing all the cap space when you've got players to play, because, like I said, you want to extend Keishon Booty as well. Like, I think that's important to get him tied down to a long-term deal. The guy's still not even 24 yet. That's mental. Like, but... Yeah, I think there should. I wouldn't expect us to be that like as active in free agency as we was this past year. I can see them making a couple of big time additions though, like rather than just bringing in 10 players. We haven't got that many players that are going to hit free agency. Really, I think. Actually, I'll find it in a second. What players are free agents this off season? But there aren't many that you'd really want to retain. I think overall, I'm just trying to find. This was on my social media the other day. Here we go. So unrestricted free agents this offseason are Dearness Johnson, Austin Hooper, Vidarian Lowe, Thea Munford, Kyrus Tonga, Caleb Chason, and Jalen Hawkins. Now, you're going to want to re-sign Tonga, Chason, and Hawkins. I think that's absolute cert. Yeah.
But I don't think they'll be expensive.
No. Chason, I think, will get a reasonable pay rise.
Yeah. If he doesn't get what he wants, he'll test the market. I think he's that.
I think Chason will. Because the thing is, what I say is Chason has done well for what Chason has done well for.
He was a first round pick, wasn't he? The Jags
previously. Yeah, previously he's done well for what he's been.
As I understand it, he's quite happy to stay at the Patriots. The reason he hasn't signed an extension yet is he wants to see what his market price is before he goes to the Patriots and says, this is my market price. I would prefer to stay here. Can we do a deal? So as I understand it, based on what they were saying on, I think it was on Locked On Patriots that they were saying it, was that's the impression that they're getting, that it's a case of Chason would like to stay in New England, but he wants to be paid what he's worth, and so he's going to see what he's worth before he sits down with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, but he also needs to find a home, right? He's bounced around a little bit. He needs to find a home somewhere and get a long-term deal. So I hope he can get that here. So you'd re-sign those three, as I said. Obviously, Tonga's been a bit of a miss. Hopefully, we can get him back this weekend. Then the other four: Dearness Johnson, Austin Hooper, Vidarian Lowe, and Thea Munford. I think Dearness Johnson's good. He's already been cut and put back on the practice squad, so forget that one. I think you could look at Hooper, Lowe, and Munford and go, if all three of them go out the door, it ain't a disaster. But equally, if you keep all three of them as as depth pieces, you're probably not going to be too concerned either. I think Munford's looked okay whenever he's played. Lowe obviously is what he is. Hooper's a kind of serviceable backup tight end. But if you lose them, it isn't a disaster. We just need to re-sign Tonga, Chason, and Hawkins. You've got Gonzo and Booty to extend. And then I think they'll look at potentially a couple of pieces in free agency, like a Dafe Owe, and maybe someone else, and just try and bring in a couple, because you don't want to upset the team too much.
You know how much the top corner gets paid? Well, first of all, do you know who it is? Do you know who it is, first of all?
It's Sauce Gardner.
Or Pat
Sorry?
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner, and then there's Derek Stingley. They're on 30.
30?
30 a year.
Yeah.
Gardner's on 120.
Oh, cough up,
that's
Mr. Pra.
A lot of money.
Because that means that Gonzo is going to get something similar. So,
yeah. Back up the bridge.
Jace Horn from Panthers, 25. Ramsey's on 24. Surtain, 24. Yeah, he's going to be wanting 25 plus. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
That's a lot of dough. Fuck me.
Oh, thank God it's not my money.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But
I'll pay them all a tenner and a packet of biscuits.
That's harsh. Okay. We now know who our opponent is on Sunday. I think we can all agree we were hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers would finally get off the schneid and get a win, first playoff win for the first time in 10 years. And the lie detector said that was a lie. We have got the Texans. We have to go up against the number one defense in the NFL by a country mile. And we have to go up against two of the biggest, baddest bastards at edge in Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, who literally they don't game plan. They just go hunting. That's all they do. They just go hunting. It's so basic and so simple what they do. And they just rush for, and they just get to your quarterback. The offensive line is going to need to work their asses off this week. Doug Marrone is going to have his work cut out. He has got, and one thing I would say is as well, when Drake Maye was doing the interview, he had Chase on, he had Milton Williams, and I also think he had some of the offensive line. I think he had Moses, he had Onwenu, and he had Garrett Bradbury with him as well. Campbell and Wilson were not there. They actually went into the changing room quickly. I generally think that we don't want to do this because we don't feel like we deserve it. I believe you any money. Will Campbell is going to be working his ass off this week so he can make sure he's ready to block Anderson or Daniel Hunter. That's easier said than done. He's a rookie, for Christ's sake. But I think you're going to see that different mindset with Will Campbell this coming Sunday. It does slightly worry me.
Yeah, I read that in the Maye wanted his whole offensive line with him at that interview point. And the reason Campbell and Wilson were missing is they just left the field quickly. And so they hadn't realized. And that was that was the only reason they were missing. But I think with every team that's played the Texans, yes, the Texans will make it hard for you. But the Texans aren't great offensively themselves. If you can get 24 points on the board, 20 at the very least, you might get away with it. So I just think you just need to be, they're not the greatest offensively. So you just need to be precise and be effective when you do have the ball.
This is the thing, though. Looking at their statistics here. The Texans defense, they're first in dropback EPA, they're second in DVOA, they're second versus the pass, second versus the run, they are second in dropback success rate allowed, they are third in takeaways, and they are fourth in yards per play. This is going to have to be a chess match for Josh McDaniels to work out.
I think the home field advantage is going to work in our favor as well a little bit.
It will, but remember,
Stephen Diggs said that the crowd needed to be a bit louder at times, that they didn't feel that. He came out in a press conference after the game, said that he didn't feel that they could have been louder at times. It depends on the weather as well, because I know Stroud and these lot don't really accommodate in the cold.
Well, you say that. They've just gone into Heinz Field and completely obliterated the Steelers. So at night as well.
The one thing that gives me a little bit more confidence about playing these lot, and I think Nick has raised a good point with the offense, is that they've not been a great offense all season long, really. Especially as that offensive line isn't that great. I mean, the O-line isn't as bad as the Chargers one, but it's still not great. But the thing for me is that you look at their recent games and they shipped 30 points to Riley Leonard. And the Raiders ran them close when they were at home as well. They only beat the Raiders by 2 points in the end. Like for all that defense has been almighty, they have still given up points to teams at time. Like how the Raiders offense scored 21 points on the road at Houston, I don't know. But they didn't play well in that game. I think you can score points on them. They have fantastic pressure. They have, one of the best outside corners in the NFL, and they have one of the best nickels in Jalen Petrie. Azeez Al-Shaair is a fantastic middle linebacker, but they're not impenetrable. Like, it showed. Like, I couldn't believe that Riley Leonard put 30 points on them. Like, that was mental. So I think that gives me a bit more confidence. We can get pressure on their line. If Nico Collins is out, I think that is a huge bonus, particularly if we're without Gonzo. That's a legit weapon on the outside. I think this game is going to be very, very similar to the other night. I would expect them to score more than 3 points, don't get me wrong. But I feel like this is going to be another low-scoring battle where both defenses are going to be flying around the field, and it's going to be a right dogfight.
What's wrong with Nico?
Concussion.
Oh.
And he played on Monday night, so it's a day less than when we played. So it might be a bit hit and miss in there. Dougie's made a good point here. We'll move the ball on them, then they will move it on us. It's going the same sort of game as Sunday. After watching that game last night, we have nothing to fear. I still fear that front four. That's going to be the biggest. If we can somewhere avenge that, we'll get there. Here's what I'll say is as well. Yes, this front four is dangerous. But once you get into the red zone, this Houston defense wilts. It's a bit below average in the red zone. So, but then again, we're not that good in the red zone either. So it's kind of like baby cough versus baby cough in that perspective.
And another thing as well, like, how much do you trust CJ Stroud in a game like this? Like, I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's like a bad QB by any stretch. Like, certainly hasn't been as good as he has been in his rookie year. But on the road in a playoff game, I know they just did it to Pittsburgh like last night. But when it's getting to serious crunch time now on the road against us, having coming off what our defense just done to Chargers, how much confidence do you have in him and being able to take advantage of it? Like, when we went into the Super Bowl against the Rams, when we won it last time, I was 100% convinced we were going to win that game because I thought Goff would be a rabbit in the headlights, and he was. And I kind of feel the same way a little bit about CJ Stroud. But we'll see.
Yes, Stroud fumbled the ball 5 times and lost 2 of them. And that, who is it? Is it Jake Andrews or Jake Matthews? Wasn't he
Jake
like
Andrews, our former center?
Yeah, fuck me. He couldn't snap. He couldn't snap it. He couldn't. I don't know. I can't use your terminology, but he couldn't snap the ball. He couldn't snap it. He couldn't snap the ball. If his life depended on it. It was awful. There was some bad goings in there. Here's what I'm going to throw at you though. I don't know why we're previewing the Texans game because that's your mind job, Kieran, on Friday night when we do this. But I'll just give you this little bit of an insight. Cast your mind back to when Drake Maye actually had his debut. It was against the Texans. These were his statistics. 20 out of 33. 60.6 completion percent of his passes. 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a QBR of 95.59. That was for the rookie. That was for his first game.
Yeah.
So it's not like he hasn't gone against this defense and has thrown on them before. He has thrown them. Okay, he's coughed it up twice. But you also got to look at this as well. The Texans put up 41 points on us. And if I'm rightly saying, CJ Stroud had 3 touchdowns passing. Damian Pierce had 1 rushing touchdown. Joe Mixon had 1 rushing touchdown. They only rushed for 100. They only rushed for 102 yards, but they damaged us in the passing game because our defense just was a sieve at the time. And how ironic, it was Stephon Diggs as well. They got the most yardage, 6 catches for 77 yards. The sacks in that game, Daniil Hunter got a sack. Will Anderson got 3 of them. This was with, by the way, Demontre Jacobs and Vidarian Lowe.
Yeah.
Way, my buddy.
So...
And if you guys can remember as well, I spoke about Stingley, but what happened in that game? He got burned by Booty for the touchdown.
Burned by Booty.
I am looking forward to seeing that rematch because if Diggs is going to play in the slot, he's probably going to get matched up against Petrie. Diggs versus Booty 2.0, as delusional Patriots fans have said there, that's going to be cinema because like Booty gave him fits the last time we played. He scored a deep touchdown, and Stingley is very, very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but that is going to be cool. 2 ex-college teammates. Booty got the better of him in the first game. That's going to be cool. That's going to be cool.
Just put it in the right place, Drake, and you'll be fine. Delivery player said, speaking of failed New England no lineman, Trent Brown is also the Texans' right tackle. Yeah. That's what he said.
To be fair, he's that big. He's their right tackle, left tackle, guard, and center.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't call him failed because he did win a Super Bowl as our starting left tackle. So,
and he also put that was an exceptionally worse New England Patriots team. Yes, it was. The defense was shambolic. And we couldn't. And obviously, Gerard Mayo couldn't coach. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Gerard Mayo couldn't coach if his life depended on it. So This is a completely new team. Now, it's easier said than done. This Texans defense, you've got to give them their respect. They're going to be a problem. They're going to be a tough ask. At Todd Brady, big up to you, mate. Stats mean nothing in the playoffs. It's a clean sheet. Go Pats. I kind of agree. I do agree with that. Hunter's sack was Drake's welcome to the NFL moment. Yes, it was actually. It was. But listen, we're going to have a bit more of a deep dive on that on Friday or Saturday, either way. DJ Nick, I'll ask for Kieran. You're good for Friday, yeah?
Yeah. I'm available for a preview show.
Awesome. Nick, DJ, I'll be asking for your predictions I'll ask for your predictions on Friday evening before we go live, just so that we find out what the report is. And listen, I've had my beef with a few people on here regarding a picking against the Patriots. Yes, I'm glaring at you, DJ. But in this case, if anyone does choose the Texans, I'm not gonna go mad on it because this is still a very good team. They're coached well. Their defense is a nightmare. So it's not out the realm of possibility. Yeah. One last thing I'm going to do before we get on out of here. So, as you all know, guys, we are part of the AAW network. We're under the banner with Hurdle the Line and so on. We've had some rather discriminatory
and
comments.
The College Football Podcast.
And the College Football Podcast, which you see on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., which you see on... It's recorded Thursday. On Wednesday, and you'll find it 6 a.m. on Thursday.
We record it on a Wednesday at 9 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah. And you get to talk about the final, Miami, Indiana. That's going to be very...
a good one, yeah.
No. Indiana going to blow the
fuck Miami.
Indiana are going to blow Miami out. I can assure you this right now.
I'm taking somewhat a little bit of credit for this Indiana rise because when College Football 25 got released on PS5, the first college football game for 11 years, my first ever dynasty rebuild was with Indiana, and I won 3 national championships. Since then, they've been awesome, and they could win a real one. So, who's the real genius behind the operation?
I repeat, fuck Miami.
Carson Beck is not winning another national championship. I cannot see Sid the Sloth win another one. He's going to turn into the new Stetson Bennett, where he's good in college and terrible in the NFL.
More than likely. It could be worse. You might be drafting Dante Moore as a second overall pick. Oh, sorry, Jets. Anyway, as we were saying, we're only under the AW network as well with a couple of others. As you know, I do like the preview show with my good friend Sam and my amazing boss man Fletch, right? A lot of respect for them. The review team, on the other hand, have now come and targeted us. Well, not us exactly. They've targeted Patriots fans, basically telling us to calm down. No one's rooting against you, this, that, and the other. Just enjoy it. Don't be miserable like Philly fans and so on. First of all, Patriots fans are nothing like Philadelphia fans. We don't throw batteries and fucking cups of piss at the opposing teams. If anybody saw the video footage of what happened after the 49ers beat the Eagles, it was just absolutely disgraceful. But the thing is, we're not asking to be loved. We're just asking to be respected. People said we couldn't do it because of a 14-3 record. We haven't played anybody. We only beat one team above 500. Fine. But you can only beat what's put in front of you. You put the Chargers in front of us, an 11-6 team. They are a wildcard team. Let's see what we do. We go and beat them. Oh, but their offensive line was absolutely trash. Well, I'm sorry. That's not our fault that Joe Alt and Rashard Slater went down with injuries early on in the season. As I said, you can only beat what's put in front of you. But we got the job done. We are not a one-and-done team. We have won a playoff game. And now we are in the divisional round against a legitimate Texans team. And I'll say this as well, right? Someone made an amazing tweet, which I'm going to try and bring up here. Where is it? Here we go. From my good friend, Pat's Planet, who I'm on his Discord, by the way. I can't believe people are still discrediting the Patriots after an impressive playoff win. Chargers don't count, not good enough. Stacking wins during the regular season, not good enough. We could win the Super Bowl and people will still say it deserves an asterisk. That is exactly spot on. Even if we did go and win it, I reckon the Nancy Pamsies over there in the review show would still discredit it. So this is my response to you lot.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh, well, I think I've started a war. I don't care. Anyway, enough of the rant. Let's calm down. Let's get on out of here. We're through. We've won a playoff game. Bring on the Houston Texans in the next round. Thank you to Nick. Thank you to DJ. And thank you to Kieran. Smash the like button on the way out. Gronk Spike, the subscribe button. Tell all your friends. Follow us on social media platforms. And make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple as well. We'll be back on Friday, either Friday or Saturday, for the divisional round preview against the Texans. We're going to try and get a fan on or a podcaster on. I mean, it's difficult because I don't know. However, I've got one person in mind, and we may have all seen him on our TV screens before. So just keep that in mind. But for now,
if I may, Carl, just before you pull off,
go on.
Tomorrow, as far as I understand, it's tomorrow on the touchdown.co.uk website, you will find my very first draft for this year is being published. So I will pop the link on our socials, and by all means, everyone go and have a look and then tell me how terrible it is. But remember, it's only draft one, and I'm still waiting on people to be confirmed and step out of the draft or confirmed for the draft. But yes, on the touchdown website will be my first draft for draft season. So I'll stick those links in our socials. But yeah, go and have a look at that.
Excellent. We will do that.
Yep.
Let's get on out of here. Everybody, we all we got.
We all we need.
We all we need.
Pats on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Pats.